welcome to Test Your Might, episode 95, here, the premier debate show. We got a little bit of a twist going on, and a future twist to continue. We've got a lot to talk about today. One, there's not a lot of good Sony PR going on right now. A few things we're going to talk about, and also we're going to choose a AAA studio to handle the John Wick franchise in the video game scene. So hopefully that'll be good. But first, let me introduce the panel. I've got two people here today. One, my fellow shenaniman, Cicero. How are you today?
I am great. I am wonderful, Justin. I hope that your mother is doing well. If she is, say hi to her for me.
Definitely do, and always do for you. And then we've got a special, as you heard, fans, a special return guest on the show today. Stay-at-home gamer.
So excited.
How are you today?
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw my hat in. I'm sick of that joke. I'm done with it. I'm a host. I created this show. I'm putting my foot down. So there you go.
He's bringing the curiosity. I love it. If you like what you're hearing already, leave us a review down below on any of the podcatchers of choice, as well on YouTube. Just type a comment out. Let us know how we're doing. We're gonna switch up the order of things here today, so you guys won't have to worry about waiting so long to get into Test Your Might, and then we'll tackle the news topics later on after that. We've got a lot to talk about housekeeping wise. One, there's going to be a video coming out based on this rework and telling you exactly what we're doing to move it around and how the podcasts will be split into two kind of, and also combined in other ways to really help you guys out. People who want to hear the whole thing, you'll still have access to that, as well as people who just want to.
Yesterday.
Okay.
As of this release,
in the
out.
past, we're time manipulators. Manipulators.
Also, we have a outline review regarding what the fun show and what we're going to be doing and tackling over the next year to come. If you are interested in the movie review scene and the kind of like hot topics that we talk about and debate different movies that we love, that's going to be there as well. It's already
Hot
out.
Pockets.
No, that's Hot Topics now.
So, just
also,
go ahead.
Also, listeners, we're officially at What the Fun Pod on YouTube, so it is very easy to find us now.
Capping.
Go check us out. No space in that at What the Fun Pod.
Thank you for that. Little plug there for
there's plenty of space for you. There's plenty of space for you. If there's no spaces in the What the Fun Pod.
Yeah. Mike, if you do win the debate section, we will give you a chance to plug your podcast at the end. Stay in the ropes here. We've got a little bit of talking.
The whole time we're recording this, we're plugging my podcast.
I don't know about this guy, Cicero. Why'd you bring him?
I don't know.
Question of the week here.
He got podcast.
We're going into the Getting the Noah series still. What is the first game, the video game, that you achieved credits on? Beat it completely. Not 100%, obviously, but which game did you beat first? Let's swing over to Mike first.
Man, it was kind of hard to really think about this because that was a long time ago.
Yep.
I think it's
longer for us.
I think it's gonna have to be in the PS2 era. I think because I don't really think I was rolling credits in the N64. N64 is PS2. Well, no, that was PS1, right? Okay, yeah. I think I was rolling credits more so in the PS2 era. So I'm gonna go with the original God of War. I think that might have been one of the first that I actually rolled credits on. I didn't finish a lot of games growing up, just sort of played them as I saw. I would say probably God of War, maybe Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to swing in, Cicero. When I was growing up, I came, when I was born, I had an Atari in my hand, 2600. And I was playing a lot.
Out the womb.
Yeah, out the womb. So, family-friendly womb. And when I turned 7,
wombs are very family friendly.
Yeah. Continuing to roll on. When I was 7, we had an NES in the house, and one of the first games that most of us played on the NES was the Super Mario Bros. / Duck Hunt game cartridge. And I rolled credits on Super Mario Brothers when I was 7 and saw those fireworks and was tired of trying to rescue fake Princess Peaches and finally got the real one. Loved it. 7 years old, enjoyed Super Mario Bros. And now I continue to strive on beating more games. Cicero, over to you.
Cicero, really quick before you say, because since you are the wiser of us three
more
here,
seasoned.
Yes. 25 though when Star Wars came out.
Absolutely.
Was that the first pack-in game?
The Game Boy
no.
had the Tetris.
No. So
Game Boy had Tetris?
Game Boy had Tetris.
Was that before? Was Game Boy before NES?
No, Game Boy was not before NES.
Oh.
And Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt were not the first pack-in game. They were the first dual game on one cartridge.
And it came with the one with the light gun.
Because the original NES Super System came with Rob, your robotic operating buddy, which came with Gyromite and the light gun for Duck Hunt in 2 separate cartridges. That was the first. Okay. That was the original pack-in.
Okay.
So that was the NES pack-in. I would probably many people will look at that and say that was the very first pack-in, but I wouldn't. I don't know if I would say that because Pong.
Did Pong come with Ataris?
No, Pong was
its own system.
Yeah. And had several games, and that's where it was packed in with games, right? So those are the games you could play squash, you could play table tennis, or regular tennis, whichever it was, which people know as Pong, and whatever other games there were like 3, but that was that's all you had. But let's see. First game I've rolled credits on. So now the problem is that I've been playing games since I've been playing console games since there were consoles. And the problem is that for many of the generations, in the early part of the generations, these games were not made to end. They were made to continue taking your quarters. So even when they were adapted to come home, games like Donkey Kong and Pac-Man, those games weren't designed to end. They just got harder and harder and harder. And in fact, so the very first game that I remember beating was Star Wars on the Atari 5200. But beating it meant I just got tired of playing it. I got to level 150 and I destroyed 75 Death Stars. And at that point, I was like, all right, you can't beat me.
The Empire was churning those out.
Right. They just kept, the Empire industrial military complex was absolute. I just kept beating them, and I remember writing Atari a letter saying, "I'm the greatest Star Wars player in the world. No one could beat me. The Force is strong with me."
I see him with a crayon, just being like, "I win game."
With a crayon.
I win. I win Star Wars. Yes.
Did they send you the credits in a scroll?
Yes.
And then you had to unroll the credits?
Right. Yes.
Slowly got smaller and smaller as you moved down the page.
Yep. Yes. They actually sent me a medal, and I wore it like Chewbacca.
Well, he didn't get it till later. They corrected that.
Yeah. I got his medal because
the original one.
Yeah. So that game was close, but actually the actual game that I remember actually getting credits on is Super Mario Brothers.
Hey.
The very first Super Mario.
One of the few on NES that were beatable, honestly.
Yep. So, and then right after that came a slew of games that you could beat, like Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Legend of Zelda and the gold cartridge and
technically restarts when you finish it, but I'll accept it.
I mean, sure, but you get like an ending.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are plenty of games on the NES that I wound up getting credits on, but I think the very first one was Super Mario Brothers.
Nice.
But if you guys need an X-Wing pilot, I'm just saying. Just saying.
He's got 150
Cicero,
Death Stars under
Cicero
his belt.
actually did come out of the womb with an Atari, apparently.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into what have we been playing currently. Over to Cicero first on this one.
Hey, listen, I've been playing some Star Wars. No, So I've been mixing it up with sports. Sports games are real fun right now. They're real hot. So NHL, playing some more NHL. That's always been fun. Playing more MLB after salute to any of our What the Fun pod listeners that live in the Houston area or are fans of the Houston Astros. Congratulations, you have won yet again. Good for you. So playing some MLB The Show, that game is fun. I currently have a 70 game hitting streak, so I'm amazing in that. Give me your baseballs, I'll fly your X-Wings into your baseballs. And
that's a new game idea.
Yeah,
family friendly Spaceballs.
I'm also playing Madden 23. However,
gotten better.
I am taking my time playing Madden 23. It has not gotten better, right? And here's the thing, because what hasn't gotten better is not things that I'm experiencing right now.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm experiencing right now is just the week to week within the franchise gaming dynamics, which for the most part are pretty good. There are a couple of steps back from last year in things that really don't matter. In the ways that it does matter, it has gotten better. You can see advancements that they're making. The game on the field is incredible. It's the best it's ever been. However, if you're like me and you love Madden for the franchise, and if you're like me and you've moved away from your friends, but you still have them and you guys still want to connect playing Madden like you did when you were kids, the online franchise is great. However, when you get to the draft, it breaks, and it breaks 100% of the time. So it's not a matter of if it will break, it's a matter of when it will break, and it's a matter of how catastrophic will it break when you get to the draft. For some people, you can, what happened to us last year, you lose the last 3 or 4 rounds of your picks, and they just either they're generic picks or they just don't show up at all, and you move on to the next season. For some franchise users, that save is corrupted, and all the years that you've had in that franchise are just gone with all of your friends.
It's terrible.
And you have to start over. And this happens 100% of the time. So as a result, I'm still playing it, right? And I'm still enjoying playing it, but I'm taking my time in playing it because I don't want to get to a point where I don't have any more games to play of Madden in my franchise, and the next thing that I have to do is go to this draft to advance it, and then wait for either roll the dice and do the draft, or wait for a patch, and there
or
really
just start
hasn't
over a new season, right?
Right. Well, but it's not starting over a new season; it's starting over a new franchise.
Well, yeah, that's
right?
what I'm saying.
Yeah. So that's
your only other option,
right? That's and you hope not to have to start over a new franchise, right? That just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
That just that's terrible, and it's really disheartening, because the game, like every time you get into a new generation with Madden specifically, Tiburon decides to take away features from the previous generation's versions to focus on graphical updates or enhance the on the field action or something like that. And they kind of say, they either pretend like those features didn't exist, or they say, well, we had to remove those in order to give you this, and they'll be coming back. This time, they've actually added features, but they broke the things that were working before. And it's not even like they removed the features, they just broke them. So they're still there, and they're just like,
messed it up.
you know, and
we don't feel like the
right.
NFL draft should be in a Madden game.
Right. It's really bizarre, and I hope they get it fixed soon. Last year was the thing where they touted having the scouts, and adding scouting to your draft process and stuff like that, but it didn't come until about this time last year in the series in real time. And if you had a franchise going before that, you had to start a new franchise in order to get the scouting in it. So I'm hoping that it won't take too much longer for this drafting thing to be resolved, because the stupid season's halfway done already. So that's Madden 23. Play a game of it, but don't play Ultimate Team, because that's broken. Don't play Face of the Franchise. That's broken. You can play online, because that's mostly not broken. You can play franchise as long as you don't draft. And
draft?
Yeah, right. Yeah, selecting new people to play again. Yeah, that's shame. What isn't a shame is the other game that I've been playing on my PS5, and that is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 current, whatever.
2022.
It's good. Yeah, right. It's good. The Twitch controls work. The aim assist is making it so that I can compete with PC players. Crossplay works. What I haven't been able to get to work, I don't know if my friends don't like me or if there's still some problems with it, is I haven't been able to play with any of my friends yet. So I'm still hoping to be able to do that at some point.
Why can't you?
We can't connect. I don't know. It hasn't worked. I haven't been able to do it yet. So if there's anybody out there that has Call of Duty and wants to play with me, I'm Stubby Stan on the PS5. I'm Stubby Stan on Activision. So you can friend me up, and if you see me, I love to play and be a meat shield for you. But yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I'm progressing along. The gameplay is great. It's not as quick paced. So if you're just running around, you're probably going to die more often than not. The sound design is incredible. The gun design is incredible. The graphics are just amazing. It's really, really good. It's really good. And they haven't even done, season 1 hasn't begun yet.
Yeah, I've only heard good things, honestly. I'll go next, Mike. I will bring back the fan-loved and much Mike-loved section here called Ducks, Dusty Discs. And
yes.
Let's not go back too far like we did with the PlayStation 1, but we're going to the Wii. And one of the few games that actually have a disc for still is Silent Hill Shattered Memories. This is a game that is a recreation of the first Silent Hill game. I know we had a lot of Silent Hill talk lately, and this is one of those games that I really fell in love with. It is probably the best version of the first game that you can play, in my opinion, because you wield the nunchuck and the Wiimote, and you are the flashlight, and you are going through a recreation, small similar elements of the original game, and it's really good. Very good game. Back in 2009 it came out, so try that out if you want to get your hands on some Silent Hill and you still have a Wii around.
Nice.
Other than that, I've been nonstop playing Marvel Snap. I wanted to keep it a secret from Mike, but I couldn't any longer. It was a week because I took last week off. Welcome back to Duck. But I really wanted to tell him I've been playing it as well, and I can't stop. It is so good. It is a very, very fleshed out game, and it's just so unique to everyone who plays it. You get RNG cards given to you. You have custom decks that you build. Some are meta, some are not. You can try out your own decks that you want with your entire collection, and there's no pay to win. It is something that is amazing and continues to do well on all of the leaderboards that I see going around. Marvel Snap for the win, possibly a contender for an award ceremony that we have later this year.
Whoa, wow.
And on you, Mike.
Wow.
I mean, I will second that. Marvel Snap is close to my goatee at this point. I know this is a mobile game, but it is like Cicero. You haven't played it yet, but you got to understand that like mobile games, they're all about gotcha systems, right? They're all about pay to win. Yes. This has nothing of that in it, and it has it has an incredible gameplay loop. You could today literally I was watching the Bears game during the commercials, play a game of Snap. And like there's nothing that's holding you back. Like it is.
What was more exciting for you, the Snap games? I bet they were.
Actually, this Bears game was awesome. Anyway, that's a sports podcast. But no, like it is
the fun sports.
It is. It's
Madden
Marvel Snap is
coming
incredible.
to you soon.
It is. It is incredible. Like I think that despite there's a lot of people who are higher like collection level than I am, but I still have decks that can compete against them, and like I not and there's also mind games with it. Like
sounds like you're throwing some shots over here.
You could bluff and stuff. No, I wasn't throwing shots at you.
MC bluffing stuff.
Close enough to you that I don't care. But anyway, Marvel Snap. If I didn't experience God of War 2018 and Tunic this year, Marvel Snap would probably be my game of the year. Wow. Yeah, it's crazy to think about that, but yeah, love Marvel Snap.
That's why I love Apple Arcade, because you pay that subscription price, and all those games they're not pay to win. They're not gotcha elements. They're all, and that's why Love You to Bits earlier this year was such a high contender for me as well. It had a great story, fleshed out game, unique. Apple Arcade's doing it right, unlike the App Store itself.
Yeah. So my son has been playing the Hot Wheels DLC for Forza Horizon 5, but he keeps complaining that he only can select a certain amount of cars. And that's because you have to play the DLC and rank up in order to play different classes of cars. And so I decided to play some races, rank up a little bit, so he'll be surprised next time that he could use a couple more cars. It's a fun game. Forza Horizon 5, it's great. Talked about it before here. I probably one of the best racers of all time. Justin, you ready?
Yeah.
I downloaded Apex Legends and played some.
Wow. I've still got it installed. Still got it installed.
So I actually downloaded it, played a couple matches with Joe, I was just really jonesing for like just playing games with friends. So I was just like, hey, I'll download Apex and play with Joe. So shout out to Jelly. It's still Apex. The new map is actually pretty fun. It's pretty cool. It's interesting. There's zip lines everywhere. Like actual like railroad zip lines that you can go across the map in like 4 seconds. Like it's crazy. I would have a feeling it's gonna make third parties pretty terrible, but anyway, that's what I've been playing.
All right. Like I said at the top of the show, we are reworking this, and hopefully you watched the video that came out earlier this week or yesterday. We are going to go straight into Test Your Might this week and for the foreseeable future. So no news until after. So you get that debate topics right now. And because this is a rework and because this is the first time it's happening, I decided to make this a Test Your Might remix episode. Which means the 4 topics have numbers, and the guest or the co-host gets to choose which one they'd like to start with. Mike, since you are the guest today, you can choose 1, 2, 3, or 4. to start off.
I asked you to be done with this joke, please.
Oh, there's a please there. I have to now.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I get to choose?
Yeah.
Let's go with number 3.
Number 3. So this is going to be the John Wick that I talked about as well at the top of the show. Lionsgate is shopping the John Wick license to a AAA studio. So who should make this John Wick game? Which AAA studio should do it? Mike, would you like to go first or second?
I'll go first.
All right.
John Wick, right? The movies are awesome. I love the trilogy that's out. Obviously, a 4th is coming. Obviously, number 3 left a little bit to be desired, but I still enjoyed it. John Wick, the original, is one of my favorite action movies of all time. It's probably in a lot of people's top 10s when it comes to action movies, and Keanu Reeves is awesome. But what you glean from a John Wick movie is movement. There's not really too much spy elements or anything like that. There's not a lot of sneaking around. It's movement. It is fighting, whether or not that's hand-to-hand combats or throwing something at them and then
fisticuffs,
fisticuffs, knives, whatever. And it's also shooting. And there's a game that I've played recently that has really intrigued me for a John Wick developed game, and that's Arcane. I really think that Arcane can nail a John Wick video game based on their movement, based on their gunplay from their recent game, Deathloop. I really think that sets a precedent for the John Wick game that they're going to be making.
All right, Cicero, over to you. He's got Arcane Studios. What do you got? Or did he take?
So it has to be a AAA studio.
Oh yeah. Well, you could fight for a less AAA studio as long as it's a better game.
Since it has to be a AAA studio, then the obvious answer is, what do you want? You want an action-oriented game that where there are car chases and some stealth, right? It's not a lot of stealth, but it is like you're moving around kind of tactically. You're getting involved in all sorts of stuff, but there's going to be a lot of gunplay, and there's going to be a lot of hand-to-hand combat. So you want to be able to see this in third person. You don't want first person, which is why Arcane, and those Deathloop comparisons kind of fall flat. But I digress. That is why you want the good folks over at Naughty Dog to make a new version of just this great character in John Wick, where he gets to just run through urban landscapes doing his John Wick thing.
All right. Some early shots fired over there from Cicero at Arcane. Mike, why Arcane and not Naughty Dog?
I think most of the games that they have made with Naughty Dog are, especially when we're talking about Last of Us, and even to a certain extent Uncharted, they're too slow-paced for what a John Wick game needs. And I've watched people play the Uncharted games. Those shooting mechanics, and even in The Last of Us, I've heard the shooting mechanics are not the greatest, and what would be the standard for John Wick we're talking about. And I think that I hearken a little bit back to the fast pace and the movement nature of let's say a game like Mirror's Edge. I know that it would be nice to see John Wick, but I truly feel that this experience could be best in a first-person action shooter, because you really want to be in the mindset of John Wick. You want to know what is going to be my next move? What is going to be my next dodge? Who am I going to shoot first next in order to plow down these foes that are coming up against? And that's where Arcane comes in. I think the first person aspect is going to be the best for a John Wick game. And I also think that Arcane's movement style and their ability to, implement the gunplay, especially through Deathloop, it's going to work. One other thing that I do want to shout out is that John Wick, especially going into like the second and the third movie, like they're very stylistic and there's a certain style to them. And if there's one thing that Arcane has, it is style. Like if you see their art style, if you see their art direction, if you see their world building, I know that they can completely nail a John Wick style aesthetic. And yeah, put it in Arcane's hands.
All right, over at Mike with the first-person immersion level. Back at you, Cicero. How are you going to implicate Math Jam and Keef the Thief? Some of Naughty Dog's originals in there. No, you can take their new stuff and defend yourself. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, so I kind of feel bad for Mike because he's talking about how Last of Us is slow, and Last of Us is slow. It's methodical, right? It's thoughtful about a lot of the things that happen. So when those action moments happen in the game, they have weight. And that's a fair criticism when talking about John Wick and the action elements of John Wick versus Last of Us. Unfortunately for Mike, we're not just talking about Last of Us. We're also talking about Uncharted. And also, unfortunately for Mike, Mike hasn't played the Uncharted games, so he's only seen other people play them. So his commentary about how the guns didn't feel great kind of falls flat. Because if you played Uncharted 4, you'd know that there is a lot of difference between the way the guns handle, even in that game. And that game is old, right? By comparisons. Yeah. So if you think about how far they've come since then, being able to actually put together an action game again, where the focus is action as opposed to ambiance and like being methodical, when it can be more frenetic. This is Naughty Dog's going to have a chance to really shine and show what they've always been capable of, something that you haven't been able to see in a while. And again, part of I realize that you really believe this, Mike. But I think you're so wrong with this first person thing. Part of the beauty of watching John Wick is seeing John Wick do the things that John Wick does, right? To other people and all of those things. And being John Wick, looking through John Wick's eyes, doesn't give you the opportunity to witness that stuff, those oohs and ahs, the hand-to-hand combat and all of the other things that you wanted to do. You don't get a chance to actually see those things when you're playing first person. Another thing that I'll say is one of your favorite games is the Batman Arkham series, Batman Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum. One of the reasons, my favorite game of the generation last year was Spider-Man, Insomniac's Spider-Man. And the reason is the same. You feel like the hero. You actually feel like when you start playing like Batman, that game unlocks for you and that franchise becomes incredible. When you start playing as Spider-Man, playing like Spider-Man, that game unlocks for you and becomes incredible. Both of those games are third person. You don't need to be first person in order to feel like the titular character of these series that you've been watching or consuming in other media. You can do it in third person, and it probably works better.
All right, I like it. I like both of them. I'm going to give you guys each one more sentence, but only to talk up your own argument. Why is your developer the right choice? Not why is it better than your opponents? Why is it the right choice? Mike, one sentence, no commas or no anything extra. Just one sentence.
Wow. No commas. Wow. Thanks. Yep. John Wick's style of combat is best experienced in first person because of the fast-paced nature of it.
Okay, Cicero, you get a comma. I'm just kidding. No commas.
No commas. All right. Everyone said that Uncharted felt like a movie. Now Naughty Dog can make a movie feel like a video game.
Interesting. All right. Great arguments on both sides. Mike, you had me for a long time. You had me at that first person. You had me at the...
then I lost.
And then Cicero mentioned how most of the games that really hook us, our Game of the Year winners, are third person. And the fact that it's first person doesn't change the fact that you're immersed in feeling like that character. It's the gameplay that does that for you. And I feel like definitely first person is good for John Wick to immerse you in that and get that fast-paced nature. But at the same time, not everyone is ready to get that quick shooting action and missing shots that John Wick can do in a movie. Third person would allow you to experience it from a further angle and also enjoy the level of detail that you love from the movies. So I think Cicero won that because of those elements. On to the next fight.
Wrong.
One Cicero. Cicero, you have 1, 2, or the blind fight. Number 4.
Oh. I'm going to go with 1.
All right. We've got EA has signed a deal with Marvel for 3 different games. First being the Iron Man game. The second is rumored to be Black Panther. What should the third game be? Cicero, would you like to go first or second?
I'm going to let Mike go first.
Handing the torch over to Mike.
Let's see what kind of Daredevil game he makes.
Go ahead, Mike.
Wow. He knew my character. That's funny. Yeah, EA. This was a wild sort of deal. If
anyone picks Hell Cow, by the way, they automatically win.
Right.
It's really interesting to just see the relationship that EA has with Disney. They didn't do so hot with the Star Wars IP, but they made this deal with Disney and Marvel. And I was reading some things that they said that they're going to be tag teaming and that Marvel is going to be more a part of the creative process. So that I really enjoy. And so EA Redwood Shores is currently making a video game that's coming out in January. And it is a remake of a very beloved Xbox 360 title in Dead Space. And I believe that they, after Dead Space, are going to be tapped to make a Doctor Strange video game.
Good pause.
I am really excited for the potential of this. This is not going to happen because we are just going on a whim. But if it does happen, the fact that EA Redwood Shores is doing such an amazing job with doing a remake for Dead Space, one of the greatest horror video games of all time. And then going back to, I know Justin, you didn't like it, but the Multiverses movie, what is it called? Madness of Multiverses?
Madness. Multiverses of Madness.
That one, it had some really awesome horror elements to it, and so
Agreed.
I think that Doctor Strange is ripe for a horror video game that EA Redwood Shores can make, because they've already got the chops going behind them in remaking this Dead Space game.
All right. I'm hoping the enemy of choice is Nightmare. Cicero, go ahead. What have you got?
So, they're making an Iron Man game. This is a character that flies around and does a bunch of things, to kind of help or keep the flame going for a character that's rumored to be getting a 4th movie. They're making a Black Panther video game for a franchise that is beloved and kind of at a crossroads right now with an upcoming movie a week away, or out this week as you're listening to this, if you're listening to it as it drops. So that's to keep that energy going, to hopefully sell a third movie by the time that video game releases. This game will do the same thing for the MCU, but for a new entry into the MCU, and that is Professor X and the X-Men. X-Men, it will be the third game.
Okay. All right. As Iron Man used to say, the wizard, why Doctor Strange?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I think that there's been enough X-Men games throughout the years. I don't think there has been any Doctor Strange games, really, if at all.
He's in Marvel Snap.
Yeah, he is in Marvel Snap. Yeah, I think that Doctor Strange is such a compelling character. He has an awesome story, and he also has great villains. And not only villains, but he also has great set pieces within his comic books. He's able to train with his fellows at Camartage, or he's able to go into these different dimensions and worry about the foes there. But I mean, survival horror or just horror games in general are just kind of on the uprise right now, or they're sort of in like a renaissance. And what better way to implement a character that has many different, scary elements to his villains, his dimensions that he's able to go to. But he is the Sorcerer Supreme. And one of the things that Sorcerer Supremeness comes with is some awesome gameplay. Like, honestly, like in this sort of horror survival game, you're going to be able to conjure up spirits of your own to fight the demons that you're going to be facing. You could have a skill tree of some sort that will allow you to do a little bit more magic. And I just think having those sort of horror elements in it, some tense moments, can really bring out the best in Doctor Strange. And they already have a developer that, once they're done with this Dead Space remake, they already have a developer that can kind of move into that, because they already know the assets, they know the atmosphere that they could potentially bring to the game. I think it's a good fit.
All right, Charles Xavier, why is yours a better fit? Or fight back, whatever you want to do.
Well, as I'm sending you all of the information from my mind, here's the thing. I love the fact that Mike has decided to find a developer within the EA studio, and they're like, and he is like, hey, you guys just did a version of this, do another version of this with this license thing. And that's cool, right? And there definitely has been lots of precedent already to show that that's not the worst idea in the world, and it has worked. But it also has backfired. Here's something that we know that we need, right? At some point soon, the X-Men will be integrated into the MCU. We know that EA knows that the MCU, as of right now, is printing money. So it makes sense from an EA perspective, who also wants to be able to, they want to make money, right? So why not figure out a way for them to be on the forefront of introducing a new group of characters into the MCU via this game? And so imagine having scenarios where you have a stable of X-Men. I'm not sure exactly who it's going to be Wolverine. It's definitely going to be Colossus. It's definitely going to be Cyclops. And, who knows? We'll get Jean, we'll get Storm, and you'll be able to take any of those characters on a mission, and you can figure out how to best utilize their particular powers to resolve whatever the issue is on any of those particular missions. And then sometimes you'll have multiple missions that you'll be able to, or missions where multiple X-Men will be able to go on the mission at the same time, and you'll be able to tag team together and fuse powers and show that it's an actual team. Those are things that will be missing from the Iron Man game, potentially missing from the Black Panther game, potentially missing from the Doctor Strange game that Mike is proposing. Like, doing these team ups, having multiple characters that people can gravitate behind and really identify with, making the game accessible and desirable by multiple people, not just fans of that particular character, but fans of multiple characters and fans of what the future can bring and fans of the MCU.
All right. Got the cultural relevance and bringing it in at the right time over on Cicero's side. You guys are going to have, excuse me, you guys are going to have one more back and forth, and that will be it, ending with Cicero. Mike, go ahead.
Justin, I want you to hear this very, very carefully. What Cicero has just suggested is that we have yet another team-based superhero video game that there are two recent examples of that not working very well in both Gotham Knights and the Avengers game. We need to have more superhero-like games that are a more concise, tight story that is focused on one singular character, such as the Batman games and the Spider-Man games. Also, why do we have to relate everything to the MCU? The MCU is in such it's in such a mixed bag situation right now. It's not in the best state. I don't know what direction they're going with. And yeah, Cicero is going to come back with, well, it's not going to be an MCU game. It's just going to hype up the level of getting X-Men back into the MCU. But I don't want that. I don't want that. I want more of a single player tight experience that does not bring in a team because we've seen that it hasn't worked recently. We need more Spider-Mans in this world.
Okay, I want to add one more question to both of yours. Who is the villain in both of your games? Mike, did you have a villain in mind? Or
I didn't have a villain in mind because I think there would be different dimensions, and I'm just not up on Doctor Strange lore on the top of my head right now.
No problem. We'll just know that from the argument. Cicero, don't worry about it either. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Right. Because I had something ready.
That's okay. It's unfair at that point.
All right. Well, so Mike made an argument where he talked about how there were these two team-up games that didn't do well, right? And he talked about Gotham Knights, which, was the most recent team-up game that didn't do well. And then he talked about Avengers, which was a game that came out a few years back, and it didn't do well. But he neglected to mention, maybe he forgot, I don't know, but there was a game last year that was my game of the year. That was a Marvel team-up game in Guardians of the Galaxy. That game was very tight. That game had a team.
Controlled one character in combat.
But you were able to utilize all of the other characters in such a way that you didn't even feel like you were only controlling one character. So it proved the point, right? It proved the point of, hey, you can get a team together, you can level them up, you can have a really tight story that you want other people to be involved in, and it can be a single player game where you only really control one character, but you feel like you control a team, and it feels like a team game all the way through. In so much that even the stories, like you're only part of the story is about you. It's almost equally about everybody else in there, and you care about them equally as much as you care about Star-Lord. It was so good, and that is one of the things that'll make this game so great, is because you'll be able to do the same thing with the X-Men as they're going through and they're fighting Senator Kelly and the Sentinel program that has just popped up, and you know, all of the crazy machinations that are happening right there, and how you've got to try and stop Senator Kelly while also not seeming scary to the public at large, who is starting to fall, you know, as they're listening to the cable news and all of the propaganda that's coming out, the sentiment about the X-Men and mutants in general is starting to turn based on the information that they're getting on the cable news, all of the lies. And it mimics what's happening in our own real world. It almost writes itself. And thank you very much, Mike, for setting the table for me.
Yeah, so you're going to control Cyclops and tell Wolverine what to do. Try selling an X-Men game to people like that. That's not going to work.
It doesn't matter. As many extra arguments that were added, I think Mike wins this. I do. I think, unfortunately, the tight-knit storyline and the creepy aspect of it, Strange has a lot of enemies, and I think Hellcow could be one of them, for sure. And I think that's what we were missing. You know, we do want that one singular story. That's what was so good about the Batman Arkham series, is that it was tight. You know, sure, Guardians is tight, and it's a great storytelling mechanism, but I don't think we want another team fighter. Unfortunately, I don't think we do. Mike hit you really hard with that one. All right, it's 1-1. The score has changed. We have two options left, number 2 and number 4. Mike.
Blind fight. Let's do number 4.
All
right. The blind fight has been chosen. Are you guys ready?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Mom's lasagna? All right. Yeah. You working on your fade?
I got a hair out of place.
Oh.
I kind of see it.
Yeah, it's like right there. It's just
all right. Viewers, he's messing with his head.
YouTube.com/@whatthefunpod.
Right, there's that plug. All right. Thanksgiving's coming up, and I thought to keep it a little festive here.
Is this another food debate?
Negative. Well,
okay.
Partially, I guess. Mm-hmm. You guys have a choice to make, and it's not an easy one. What is more exciting? Black Friday sales or Thanksgiving dinner? And Mike,
Black Friday
you get to choose first.
Thanksgiving dinner.
All right. Cicero, you got Black Friday sales.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mike.
Who goes first?
It's Mike first. You got to choose the question.
You know, some Thanksgiving you actually have mom's lasagna, you know? So depends on where you go. But I've always enjoyed Thanksgiving dinner. It's absolutely delicious. Not only are you eating it amongst family, friends, but you're also watching football while partaking in that. You're also taking a nap afterwards. You know, the meal is great. Like, you are eating so much food. I don't know about your guys' house, but we got cheesy potatoes, we got deep fried turkey, we got some ham, we got, you know, other stuff. Like, it's all great. We got dinner rolls, butter lathered all over it. Like, Thanksgiving dinner is the greatest, and not just because of the food, but the company that you are eating with. And so I will always take family over spending money because I ain't got none.
Cicero, why are Black Friday sales better than that?
Well, you know, as we're sitting down and we're having Thanksgiving dinner, We talk about the game. We talk about that kind of stuff. But we also talk about what we're going to buy over the course of the weekend, right? So if I may, I'm going to take this to Black Friday, aka African American Friday, also Small Business Saturday, and Cyber Monday.
It's part of the sales.
And say that people are strategizing about what they're planning. You know, people have been saving their time and their energy and holding off for 4, 5, 6 months, getting ready in heavy anticipation of these sales. What TV am I going to be able to get? What games are going to be on sale? What headphones can I get? What gifts?
You don't need more headphones, Cicero.
What gifts? I'm not talking about just me. I'm talking about the people. But what gifts? What stocking stuffers am I going to be able to find for Christmas for my friends and my family? All of those things, most of those things are purchased in that 72, 96 hour window. And they're all of these deals. That's where most of the stuff that you get during the course of your year come from. Directly from there. It's the biggest shopping time of the year. It's how you set up your next year is during those 96 hours. It can't be topped by a dinner where the turkey is deep fried turkey. Deep fried turkey is great. Whatever.
Yeah,
deep fried turkey. Fixins are great, but fixins are even better. They're even better on the second day, leftovers after they've had time to marinate a little bit, and your stupid uncle isn't over there messing with stuff, and your knucklehead cousin that's grabbing the stuff off the TV and you always got to worry about. All of those people are gone. So you get to eat all the good food while you're online shopping and getting all the stuff that you want. It can't even compare.
All right, Mike, I want you to just take down the opponent. And I'm going to have
take down the opponent?
And Cicero's going to have the same chance afterwards. Why is Black Friday shop sales so bad?
Because Black Friday doesn't mean anything anymore. There's no such thing as Black Friday. There is, as you said, Saturday, there's Sunday, there's Monday, there's Tuesday, let alone there are places that are running Black Friday deals right now that will be the same as the ones that will come on Black Friday the day. There is I saw an ad for Costco. Their Black Friday starts November 17th. Black Friday doesn't mean anything. So what you can do is you can buy all the stuff right now that are on the deals right now, and then you could spend a good family dinner with your family.
Cicero, why is Thanksgiving family dinner the worst?
Because you have to host, right? And it's great. It's
50% of families do have to host, unfortunately.
Right. Well, so either way, right? Either way, you either go to somebody's house and eat and be uncomfortable and drink and then have to come home and deal with all of that stuff and then not be able to have the leftovers that you really like the best from there home, enough of them home with you in order to eat them later on. Or you're hosting and you've got to do all this prep work and get all the nonsense going, and then you got to have your family over and you're stressed out because ultimately, right, like your families are wonderful. Everybody loves their family and you know, they're all great. But there's one person, not you, but there's one person that everybody's like, this person's coming and they're bringing their famous dish that you know everybody's got to eat and be nice about, but it's gross but you got to eat it. And then that other person's coming that always drinks too much and then says some stuff that you're like, I can't wait for them to leave, you know. And that's why the next day on Friday, when it's just the people in your house that you love. And maybe better yet, you invite some of the people that you actually like over, and you have a Friendsgiving where you have the people that you actually enjoy spending time with and have that food, and you have leftovers. That's even better than Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's the only reason you have Thanksgiving is so you can have leftovers the next day. Everything else outside of, football is great and all that other stuff. I can watch football tomorrow when nobody else is talking over it and doing all that other stuff. And I can have all the stuff and it tastes better because it's been marinating for a day. Boom, Friendsgiving on Friday. And I get to buy all the great stuff that I want.
All right. You guys get to choose one thing from your topic that is the best thing about your topic. One thing. One food item for Mike, or football, or whatever you choose. And one thing from Cicero's as well that makes it the ultimate best. Mike, what do you got?
Family. I'm a family person, and I just love spending the time with family.
Solid choice. All right, Cicero.
I got my bidet on Black Friday. A bidet is, listen.
God, if that wins in this argument, I'm going to be so upset.
Listen, when you get one, if you have one, you know the vibes. If you don't have one, you're like, until you get one. Then you'll know the vibes too.
All right. That's going to call it. The score has changed.
Uh-oh.
I think Cicero washed away the crappy family members that you don't want to be around on Thanksgiving with his bidet. I think it did. Also, Friendsgiving is one of the things that is very good about the day because you get that food to be marinated. Like he said it best. Marinating food the day after when no one else is taking it off your
Justin.
plate.
I'm sorry.
All right, Mike.
It's all right. I'll go do my Black Friday deals 3 weeks early.
Go ahead. That's the best part about it. The sales never end. All right. Number 2 is the only one left.
I'll pick that one.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah, I think so. So.
IGN recently had fans choose the best horror video game of all time.
Ridiculous.
Which was Silent Hill 2 over all others. That's all the Resident Evils. It won my favorite game of all time. Right. Nice. So I want you to pick a horror movie. I know we're out of Halloween, but we've got a little bit of residual horror scariness coming. One horror movie that has never had a game, and I will be Googling to find out, that would make a game crossover to trump the current leaderboard. Cicero, would you like to go first or hand the torch to Mike?
No, you know what? I'm going to go first.
All right.
I'm going to go first.
What movie? And then I'll come back to you. Just go with the movie title. And then
okay. Just go with the movie title.
Yeah.
2016's Don't Breathe.
Okay. Mike, movie title.
Black Phone.
Oof. All right, Cicero, roll it out. Why should I not breathe?
All right. So Don't Breathe was
Please breathe.
Right. Don't Breathe was a film that came out in 2016, set in Detroit, where these bank robbers, or they weren't bank robbers, they were robbers, and they were robbing houses and stuff like that were kind of dilapidated, whatever. They found out that there was this house that had some money in it. They broke into the house. The guy who lived in the house was blind, and he happened to be home, and he happened to be very, very dangerous. And he was killing the people that were in the house, in his house, illegally.
Also had a big dog.
Yeah, and he also had a very big dog. Yeah. Your goal is going to be, you're going to play as one of those robbers that's in this house, and you've got to try and escape.
All right. With the money or without the money? Just get out with your lives.
Well, that's part of the game. Like, you could, there's multiple endings.
All right.
Can you go out? Can you get the money? Can you get out?
All right, Mike, the new age child horror film with a creepy supernatural sense. Black Phone. Mm-hmm. Why and what is your game going to look like?
First of all, watch Black Phone. If you're not okay with like child abduction, I'll just be blatantly honest. Then don't watch it. Stay away. So, anyway, Black Phone. I really enjoyed the movie, and I think that a video game would really, really work in a narrative sense. Not necessarily like a Telltale like type deal. I think there might be some quick time events in this sort of game that I'm building, but more so this is going to be a puzzle mystery. And you're going to be able to play as two characters, one of which is the kid's sister. His sister is on the outside, and she has sort of this supernatural connection with the kids who have already been killed, and she also has just this supernatural ability of having dreams. In the movie, she thinks that Jesus is giving her the dreams, and then she curses him out because he's not doing it right. So yeah, it was funny, but I think that it would be cool. It would be a puzzle solver, but the boy that was kidnapped and taken away, he is stuck in this room, and in this room there's a black phone, and the black phone is his sort of portal to the dead kids who have gone before him, and they have all had sort of this like breakthrough in how to escape from this person, and so he is getting these supernatural messages. The rooms, though, are going to be procedurally generated, and so it's going to be a moment where as you're solving puzzles outside and solving mysteries outside with his sister, she is sort of unlocking new characters that give your kid or your person hints as to how to escape the room. So it's going to be like different rooms depending on who is unlocked. So I think that's a really, really cool concept. If you fail, then you just have to solve a little bit more puzzles on the outside to get more rooms procedurally generated for him to escape the big bad. So
okay, all right. I like it. Unique. Definitely one of a kind. Cicero, why Don't Breathe survival horror?
Well, because that's exactly what it is. It's survival horror. And we've played games like this before. But the twist here is that there are multiple pathways for you to remove yourself from the situation, and it could be with the money, it could be without the money, it could be with one of your friends, maybe you by yourself. It could be that you wind up, if you've never seen Don't Breathe, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there's a twist there. Maybe you discover the twist.
Gross.
And so you're able to do all of the things that you were trying to do during the course of the movie. The movie's about the main character, Rocky, trying to get this money, steal this money so that she can finally move to California with a young son and start her life anew. So maybe you're able to do all of those things as a result of getting through the film. Maybe you're not able to do any of those things. But that's part of what makes this game so great. I think of what was the game that Kojima made with that PT. That demo. I'm thinking of PT, right? There's a lot of PT vibes in there. This could be the realization of what PT could have been.
All right. We've talked about our own a bit. Mike, why have you seen Don't Breathe?
I have not, actually.
Okay. All right.
Definitely should.
It's a great movie. Second one's very good too. Go ahead and say why.
Don't Breathe?
Yeah. Why not Don't Breathe? Or what did you hear from him that just stands out of not being a great trumping leaderboard game?
Yeah, I mean, despite me arguing for a survival type horror game earlier with Doctor Strange, I
versatility.
I do think we have too much of them, actually. And I think that the spin that I have on this horror movie is a little bit more unique, and it could grab the attention of people within who really enjoy this genre. Yeah, I think that Ethan Hawke's the grabber, who's the main character, is a little bit more compelling than your robber guy that's blind type thing. I just like him as a character. I haven't seen the movie, so I might be wrong in that. So, but yeah, I just think that there's elements of this game that are just solely unique, and offer an interesting gameplay mechanic and sort of an interesting experience as you are exploring the supernatural, solving puzzles, and then also that is what is helping give your brother the means to escape these procedurally generated rooms. And obviously the grabber is everywhere in this. There's going to be jump scares. There's going to be times where even the grabber might be sort of infiltrating the supernatural side with his sister. So I think, yeah, I just think it's a little bit more unique. So
all right, Cicero, have you seen Black Phone?
I have not seen Black Phone.
So we're on even playing field here.
We are on an even playing field. So what I will say is that while Mike is right about there are survival horror games there, there've been a lot of them, and this one isn't necessarily unique. I could say that about the film, right? Don't Breathe is a simple premise. The premise is super simple. A bunch of young 20-somethings that are, ne'er-do-wells with hearts of gold get themselves into a situation, and they've got to get themselves unstuck from that sticky situation. We've seen those before, but what made Don't Breathe so great is that they took that premise and they did something with it that was like, I know this, but I didn't know it like this, right? They added different spices to it that made it taste different. And that's those are the elements that you can add to this game, right? Like they took a house that was like, oh, there are trapdoors and there are secret passageways in this house. Why do these exist? Like, it just doesn't seem right. And those are things that as you play the game, you can either discover, right, why those even exist, or you can ignore why they exist and just focus on trying to get out. All of those things are right there, and they're ripe for the taking. And that's the brilliance of this, of the story, of the franchise, of the movie, and of this game, is that you think you know what this is about, but you don't know what it's about. And once you figure out what it's about, you're like, oh wow, this is something. This is something different. I thought I understood this genre. I thought I understood this game. I thought I knew what I was doing, but I didn't.
So, oddly enough, both these films almost grossed the exact same amount in North America.
Wow.
One was at 89.9, and the other was 89.2 grossing. So they are very close in the box office scores. Mike, I think you got this one. I'm pretty sure you did. Your unique element of having two characters that you're playing at the same time or switching between really adds a different element of that survival puzzle solving. And I like that. You get that exit strategy of, I'm going to get out of the creepiness of this room right now and go and be my sister for a while out on the open, still with jump scares and still keeping those elements. But you're able to kind of like step back. With Cicero's stepping out of that building and running away ends that the whole thing. You're free. You're out. You're gone. You don't have that same like
spoilers.
Outlast. You don't have that same Outlast head rush throughout the entire process. Like with Mike, it's both those elements hitting just right. I think it's very interesting. Also, adding more rooms, unlike the film, would be crazy. Procedurally generated rooms, that would be crazy. So Mike wins that. That is 2-2. And due to the fact that this is a remix and we are trying out this new formula, I have the Metacritic score challenge with a twist as well.
It's a movie.
No.
Oh.
This is going to be the Call of Duty collective Xbox Metacritic total score. That is all of the games added together from the Xbox consoles, which I took the time to go and do. You get to pick a number 1 to 2,000.
How many games?
There's 18.
You should have taken the average 1 to 2,000.
Yep. Look, Price is Right rules. Most of the prices that they do talk about are in the thousands. So this is closer to the game show's classic elements. Same as always, if you haven't heard or seen before, fans, is
this including the new Modern Warfare 2?
This is including all of the games that released on an Xbox console, which includes the newest.
Okay.
If they go under, if both of them go under, it is closest to the actual number that wins. They both go over, it is the same, unless someone hits it spot on, which I doubt happening right now.
You're not looking up, right?
Cicero?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
No. I'm pulling out a calculator. What are you talking about?
Calculators are allowed. You guys are going to tell me your numbers in 5 seconds, counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
All right. I'm ready. Are you ready, Mike?
995.
Okay, Cicero?
1,622.
Cicero, that is surprisingly close to the actual total. The actual total is 1658. And that means with a 1622, you are very close to the actual number. Cicero, you are the winner tonight.
Yes.
What do you have to say to your fans for that crazy Metacritic score that you came up with? That's crazy. Maybe 30 off.
Always do math. Always do math, kids.
You carried your ones. Good job.
Yeah, I did carry my ones. Yeah, I want to shout out our guest Mike for
told you I'm done with that joke.
Well, you said that to Justin. You didn't say that to me. Since I love the fact that he advocated both for and against survival horror and won both times. So I got to respect that case
for sure.
Yeah, shout out to you, Mike.
What I don't respect is Justin chose Black Friday over family.
The arguments were better.
Who knows?
Yeah. Well,
people can decide.
Like we said, our show's not over yet. We moved it around. We're going into the news now. Stick around, and we'll come to the leaderboard towards the end. News. Lots of Sony PR that I was talking about at the top of the show. PSVR 2 is not looking too hot on the price board. We've got the PSVR 2 sitting at $549.99 and the console itself for $399. So that puts you just under $1,000.
Well, $500 if you want the disc edition.
True that. So that's over $1,000. How do you guys feel about that? Do you think it's too high? Do you think it's too low? I doubt so. Cicero, go ahead. You're our PlayStation asphyxiant.
Yeah, so
Asphyxiant?
yes.
That's not the word.
It's one of the words.
You know, it is for this. A few weeks ago we were talking about PSVR 2 and
Asphyxiano?
and I was
aficionado
when they were announcing it. But you guys are still, it's like my kids are around. Like it doesn't even matter that I'm talking anymore. So
I'm young enough to be a kid of yours potentially.
Yeah,
he was 25 when Star Wars came out.
Yeah, I was 25 when Star Wars came out, and
all right, Cicero, go ahead. Sorry for
it's quite all right. A few weeks back, I was
it's still wrong.
We were talking about Sony, and Sony officially announced their PSVR 2, and talked about things, and I said at the time, like, they're positioning this to be expensive. And I was thinking at the time that they would make it as expensive potentially as the console, which was ridiculous, right? This is an accessory. There's no way that they could sell this at, 85 or 80% of the cost of the console and think that that's a good investment.
But now the console is the accessory.
It's right. It is right. The console is the accessory to the PSVR 2, which is ridiculous, especially when you look at the fact that most of the games that they were showcasing on for PSVR 2 and what it can handle are games that I've been playing on my Meta Quest or my Oculus Quest, whatever you want to call it, for years. And many of those games I was able to play on PSVR, and now I'm gonna have to buy again, right? On top of paying more money than the price of the premium console.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It is outrageous that Sony has put themselves back in the same position where they're saying, hey, if you really want it, you'll get a second job. As inflation is out of control, as all of these things are, like all of these different factors are sitting out there staring everyone in the face. The fact that they would continue to release a product, if they felt like this product was a premium product, they felt like this product needed to be released, to not hold this product or to not bundle it with lots of different things or figure out ways to aggressively pack it in with the console or with something else to make it more palatable is outrageously egregious.
Yeah, I'm glad you went there. That was going to be my follow-up to Mike here. What could they have bundled it with to make it okay for that price? Like, what could they have put with it to make that price point sit right with fans?
I mean, nothing. I don't think it's okay. I don't think at $550 it is okay even if you bundle it. I think that $500 should have been the price. I think it should have been the same as the premium console. But they should have figured out a way to have backwards compatibility. They needed to respect the original PSVR, people who bought into that particular product, and to have it, this way. The reason why I say it should have been $500 is because of the technology that they are trying to implement into this. It's probably going to be one of the better headsets when it does come out, but it should not have been as high or above, the console itself. Like you're talking about spending $1,050 without tax to just buy into this peripheral. That's outrageous. Personally, I would have loved to see it at $400, where it had the price parity with the Meta Quest 2, which is at $400 right now. But I think that with their tech, they probably saw that they couldn't go below $500, and then they decided to screw over everybody that wanted to get into this and put it at $550. It is, as Cicero said, it is absolutely egregious. The fact that not even one game is bundled with the $550, let alone there's a $600 bundle that comes with Horizon, is also egregious. There's no way, like, the attach rate for the PSVR is at 5%.
5%, yeah.
There's no way this is beating that. There's no way. Absolutely no way.
Yeah, you almost sound like an officio taco for Sony.
I was just gonna say, if they did $550 with a super aggressive digital bonus, right? $200 or $150 in digital credit for VR games in the store, I still don't think that would make it.
Because it costs them nothing to do that.
Right. They lose a little bit of money, but not the amount of money that they're going to lose. Right.
Yeah.
Not the amount of money that they're going to lose if they mass produce this product and expect it to sell.
But really quick, Justin, before you jump in, Cicero is totally right. Sony is starting to get into the mindset that they were in with PlayStation 3 era.
Right.
They're like, we are the market leader. We know what we're doing. We've sold bajillions PS2s. And so we're going to jack the price up of the PS3 and be $600. Oh, we're the market leader. People love PS5s. We can't seem to keep them on the shelves. So we're going to announce a peripheral for $50 more than the console that it needs to run. It's egregious.
At the same time, we get details about the Quest Pro, which is the next big high-end MetaQuest competitor. Well, same company, right, but future, sitting at $1,500. And if you throw down an extra $400 or $450 from this price, you'd have that. And honestly, the previews for that with the back compatible library that I already have sounds like a better option. You get that mobile pass-through that's just like stellar.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous how that looks.
If I was into VR and I didn't have a PS5, and my choices were get a PSVR 2 with a PS5 at $1,100, or spend $1,500 and get a MetaQuest Pro, it's a no-brainer. You get the MetaQuest Pro.
Yeah. No, it's a no-brainer. You just get the PS5 and experience games with a controller.
Well, if you had to get one headset, right, and you already have a back catalog of games, not even including the Steam Link, which is possible with the MetaQuest, not Crust. You would go with the Quest Pro, honestly, and then
100%.
Even the videos alone of the advertising that they've shown has shown the Quest Pro looks way better than Sony VR.
Right.
Sadly. And I wish they would have highlighted some first-party games. Nothing. All stuff that we already have been playing for years.
The thing also, Justin, is that the games that I personally, Justin knows this, and Cicero, you know this, or now you will know this. I'm never going to buy into VR. It gets me sick. Justin showed me PSVR 1, and I played Gran Turismo, and I got sick like instantaneously. Not like to the point of throwing up, but I was feeling queasy. But now, regardless, so I'm
move the left stick.
I'm crashing into the wall.
Regardless, I'm not going to buy into this ecosystem ever. That's just not what I'm going to do. But the games that I would want to play are games like Superhot, Beat Saber, ones that aren't necessarily going for this certain level of realism that I don't need. Let alone, I don't need the PSVR 2, let alone, the $1,500 one. I'll just go with the MetaQuest 2, the one that is $400. Yeah, that's a steep price for me. But if I wanted to play Beat Saber, not only that, it comes with Beat Saber. It's packed in at $400. Like, yeah.
And which is exactly, and that's the thing that Sony could have looked at what Meta wound up doing, right? They raised the price of the hardware, and they were like, "Oh, okay, we raised the price of the hardware because we kind of had to, but we've got all these digital codes of what are we gonna do with all these digital codes of Beat Saber? Oh, let's just throw them in, right? Like, and again, it doesn't, it's marginal. Yeah. It's marginal what that cost them
exactly
to do that. But what it does is it makes the price increase more palatable so that they can still move units. And if you're telling me, in order for me to get this headset, I've got to spend more money than I spent on my console. That disregard the fact that personally I have a digital console, so they're asking me to spend almost half of the price more than the price of my console to buy this headset, this peripheral for the console. Right. But on top of that, if I had PSVR, all of my software that I had before is null and void. I can't use it. It's trash. So I've got to rebuy that stuff.
Yeah.
And on top of that, most of the vast majority of the software that you have available for me to purchase is stuff I've already bought on my previous VR headset that I only spent $200 on, right? And it looks just as good, right? And I've got all the same, right? And I've got all the same functionality, and I don't need my stupid $400 console in order to use it, right? I can walk around with it. So like you're not winning in any stretch of the imagination, and at no point did anybody at Sony say, hey, maybe we need to figure out some concessions, right? Because we're going to be asking a lot of our consumers to purchase this. Maybe, and we're putting a lot of limitations on it. Maybe we can figure out a way to make this more palatable for them. And they haven't figured that part out. I don't think they're going to figure that part out because they have reverted back to the PS3 mindset, and they haven't learned from that, apparently.
I definitely foresee PSVR 2s sitting on the shelves and PlayStation 5 still nowhere to be seen in the near future. All right, some more sad PlayStation news. PlayStation Plus has lost 1.9 million subscribers. Almost 55% of their player base did not subscribe. Cicero, what keeps you around, being the Sony aficionado supreme of us? What makes you stick around? Because I know you're subbed, right, to the PlayStation Plus.
I am subbed. I think I just renewed.
He doesn't know
so
what
you're
he's
in that
to,
45%. Yeah.
Right.
Plus Extreme, Hulu, whatever.
Yeah, right. So what keeps me subbed? Inertia. And my love for the Test Your Mic community, right? Like it's being able to accurately report on what these things are, so you guys don't have to. Nobody's giving me free money to do this stuff, but I'm doing it anyway. Nice. But also, I'm lazy, right? So I signed up for the thing because it was only gonna cost me an extra $30. And then, I used it a few times, was like, oh, this is dumb. And then I got an email saying, hey, we're going to renew in a little while. I was like, oh, yeah, I got to remember to figure something out about what I'm going to do with that. And then it renewed. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm here now. So, maybe next year I'll really spend some time thinking about whether or not this is a smart decision. The answer is no. Because like there really isn't anything there. I have not found the value in this service yet, and outside of curiosities, right? Like, oh, there are some PS2 games that I can stream and check out, and that's fun for a weekend or a night or whatever, or just had one too many beers and I just want to check that kind of stuff out. But like, it doesn't really add any value to my life. It definitely isn't. When you compare it to Game Pass, it definitely doesn't resonate the same way. And in fact, Sony on the PlayStation home screen doesn't do a great job of promoting it in the same way that Game Pass is promoted on the home screen on the Xbox. So I think from many different data points, Sony doesn't know what they're doing with their subscription service, and in much the same way that Warner Brothers really kind of fumbled the bag on the DCEU, where they were looking and saying, ooh, I see all this money that Marvel is making with their MCEU. We should do the same thing. Let's do the same thing. And they just tried to rush it out there without really being thoughtful about what it is that they were trying to present.
Have James Gunn
and having,
so I'm excited.
Right, and have a cohesive, hey, but it might be a little too late, but like having a cohesive vision and showing and giving that the space to breathe and present that to your consumers. Sony did the same thing. They saw Game Pass. Game Pass was making a lot of money. First they said, oh, we're not going to do subscriptions, whatever. Then they came out and was like, oh, no, Game Pass is actually doing work. We need that too. And they just bundled all the other crappy services that they had together and was like, here, give us more money, and now you've got a service and it doesn't work. And most subscribers, not dummies like me, are speaking with their wallets by saying, no thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely agree. Mike, how could they fix it? How could they get those subscribers back? How could they get the subscriptions back? What could they offer that would fix that issue?
One less tier. I think that it's too confusing right now. If they take away one tier and then whatever was in that one tier, put it into the other tiers, I think that will sort of help the subscriber base. I don't necessarily, although one of the draws of Game Pass is obviously day one releases, right? But I don't necessarily think Sony needs that. I just think that they need more of a palatable thing. Like, what actually am I paying for? One thing that I think, even if they don't start doing day one things, what they do need to do is start including the PS5 versions of games. Because, Cicero, I know maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong, but there are games that have PS5 versions that are in the service, but it's in the service, it's only the PS4 version that you could play. And that is probably the most egregious out of all of this, because a lot of the games that I think a lot of these 2 million subscribers would want to play, they want to play the best version possible, and that's not in the service. So why am I going to subscribe to this? Especially when most of the games that I play online nowadays are free to play, and Sony doesn't require me to have this in order to play those games free to play. Xbox doesn't now either. They used to require gold, but Sony's always done that. So yeah, I mean, you asked me the one thing that they need to do, and they just need to get rid of one of the tiers, because as Cicero said, Game Pass is marketable because it's literally Game Pass. You buy it, you get the games. This is PS Plus. Wait, which one am I subscribing to? Like, there's a bajillion, and I don't know what I'm getting. So
yeah,
they need to make it more concise.
Funny thing about marketing is Xbox and Microsoft don't really market Game Pass. They market games that are coming to it. They don't have an advertisement for it specifically, and I haven't seen one yet anyway. I saw
there's a tile on the home screen, and then there's always another tile with like current games. That, the hot new games.
But I mean, like, that's for people with consoles. For the general public that don't have gaming consoles, there's no TV advertisement that they're going to see. Now, sure. I did see a TikTok, funny enough, that was Samsung TVs advertising Game Pass through their ad for Microsoft because of the tile that's going to be on Samsung smart TVs coming. So yeah, it's interesting. Definitely one tier would help. I think day one releases would be very beneficial to keeping a fan base.
I mean, it will be beneficial, but I don't know if Sony. First of all, Sony's not going to do that. They're just not. Secondly, I don't know if you need that to fix. That's what I meant with the question. Like, I think it just needs to be a palatable thing that you're signing up for. Like, what am I actually paying for?
Well, I mean, to that point, I don't know what I get, right? I just know that whatever it is that they offer, I've got all of that stuff. Yeah. I have no idea. Like, I know there's game demos, and I can stream legacy games from legacy consoles, and there are games that are available to me. I don't know what any of that stuff is. But if they were giving me day one first party games, I'd know that. Right? Yeah. I know that would be a thing that would make me log into my console every month to check out what or when, God of War is releasing. I know that I would be on my PS5 downloading God of War because I've got the subscription and I know that I can play that.
All right.
But I don't know what I get.
I don't know. Sony's over there tripping and falling, it seems like. Unless they're, they are the market leader, so maybe they know what they're doing. I don't know.
Right.
Onto the leaderboard.
They're gonna block this Activision Blizzard deal, and then all the.
That's something I've been speaking of since 2021. I don't want to see that happen. That'd be sad. To honor No Shave November, we're gonna go into the leaderboard with a little bit of seasonal aspect there in regards to No Shave November. This is the top 5 facial hair in video games. I will go first. Sorry if I steal your stuff. I've got Dr. Eggman. Mike, do you want to type for me?
Oh, sure.
Thank you. You are the
Dr.
typing
Eggman?
taco supreme.
The aficionado.
Yeah, taco supreme. I've got Mario. And Pyramid Head. You don't know what's under that thing. There's a nice facial hair trim under Pyramid Heads, a giant pyramid.
It's not going.
You gotta rotate the camera on those PS1 games. You'll know.
Right.
If you ever played Tomb Raider, you know.
All right, Cicero, go
ahead. I'm gonna say boy.
Ooh.
And go with Kratos.
From the new one.
My answers.
Because the original one didn't have it.
Yeah, original did not have a beard. Dad Kratos. Dad Kratos is yeah, he's got a good dad beard. You went Dr. Eggman. I'm gonna go Dr. Light. Dr. Light's got a good Santa beard. And then I'm gonna go with.
Is that light like a light bulb, or is it LIT?
Yeah. Dr. Light. From Mega Man also.
I got you.
Right. Because so Eggman's Dr. Wily. This is
Thomas.
Then
what is Santa Claus?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with one of the dwarfs from Dragon Age, Muradin, Bronzebeard.
His name has beard in it?
Can you spell?
Yes. It's Muradin Bronze, beard.
That is correct. It's in World of Warcraft.
Okay, I'm going with Ezio Auditore from Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed 2, I don't think he has the beard. I think it comes in either Brotherhood or Revelations, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. I forget. Another Ubisoft title, The Prince of Persia. He has a solid beard.
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 And then from
there's no space here. Bronzebeard.
Oh, sorry. And then I'm going with Adam Jensen, who is the main character from the Deus Ex franchise.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. He's got a good tight goatee.
Nobody went with Gordon Freeman. Sad. I let it go.
Yeah.
Or Joel Miller from Last of Us. He also.
But yeah, Adam Jensen has a good one.
Joel's rocking a good scruff.
Yeah. All right.
Must-haves. I'm obviously going to go with Pyramid Head because you guys don't know what I'm talking about because you don't rotate the camera like crazy people.
Right.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Dr. Light.
Yo, that is Santa Claus. Legit. Like, he looks like Santa Claus. 100%.
I'm going to go with Adam Jensen. That guy has a really cool beard.
Okay.
He's got like little slits in it. Like it's stylized.
Kratos
has to be on this list, right?
I want
Kratos, of course.
I want to fight for Ezio instead of Kratos. Because
really,
and Kratos is on the list. Majority rules. I mean, he was on my list before Cicero even took it. So I'm going for Kratos.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm all in. I'm all in. On
what
Kratos.
about the the Nintendo highlight character Mario. Then, it's an iconic mustache, right?
It is. It is an upside down comb. So, props to him for. Well, actually, I think Wario's mustache is better than Mario's,
but it's not as iconic.
Well,
but Dr. Eggman's mustache is wildin'.
Dr. Eggman's mustache is, shout out to
point of order.
Dr. Eggman.
Point of order.
Right.
Is that a mustache or is it nose hair?
Right. What I will say is
nose hair ain't facial hair.
Jim Carrey's
that's even
Dr.
more wild.
Eggman was even more wild. I'm all about that. I'm all about that. If you guys want to go in the camp for Dr. Eggman, I'm in.
It's wild.
I'm in the camp of getting Pyramid Head off this list.
That was his must-have.
Yeah, you can't take that away. That is a great pick. Yeah. You don't know what's under that pyramid.
Right.
It's dark. It's dark under there.
Therefore, we don't know if he has facial hair or not.
I do.
Eggman.
I have a faith that he has facial hair down there.
Yeah, there you go. That's what
I am a silent hair aficionado.
Did
I say it right?
I don't like this.
He's an aficionado.
Aficionado.
I don't like
aficionado.
this. I don't like it.
Aficionado.
He's a fish from Toronto.
Aficionado.
Yeah, he's a fish from Toronto.
A cheeseburger. Right. All right. Well, to round out our list, the leaderboard, again, to honor No Shave November, our top 5 facial hair in video games, in no particular order, but Pyramid Head is at the top. Pyramid Head, Dr. Light, Adam Jensen, Kratos from the new God of War, and Dr. Eggman with that wild, don't you delete that. And that's our show. Thank you for sticking around. Hopefully you guys like the new order of events. If you do, let us know. Leave us a comment if you're still here.
Please.
We appreciate you. Mike, now is your chance to plug, even though you lost the debates.
Yeah, just follow us at What the Fun Pod on all socials. And just to reiterate, our YouTube channel is finally youtube.com/@whatthefunpod.
Yes.
No spaces. I'm very excited that my 2 guests were able to join me. So please, for Mike, Cicero, Justin, my name is Mike again.
Okay,
this is
15 seconds is up.
95. We'll talk to you guys
like
later.
and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Thanks, guys.
Whoa.